Hey, how's it going, guys? So today we're gonna talk about the Manitou R7. I don't know why Manitous got so much flack for being shitty forks. I think they're pretty fucking rad. True, they did run the whole SPV valve. I think what is it like mid 2000s till late 2000s, which were yeah, those are pretty bullshit. SPV valve, fucking hated it. But even then, I mean, when I was writing that stuff, we would just take the fork apart and take off the SPV valve, which was basically just this small little plastic thing, that little pedal platform thing, just this little plastic thing. Just take out, and while you're there, you can actually like custom shim the damper to fit whatever writing style you want and how progressive you want the fork. So that was kind of cool, anyways. And they rode fucking great after that. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about that guy, which is a 2016 it's a 2016 Manitou R7. It's a 26-inch wheel. It's got the intrinsic damper, low speed lockout, and just a rebound adjustment. Simple. Been riding it for I think a year and a half maybe since I've built this thing, and yeah, it's amazing. And I think it's safe to say that I really put this thing to work just because. I mean, you guys have seen my YouTube videos and the kind of dumb stuff I've done with this bike, right? And because of the tires I'm running too. Yeah, so I do beat the shit out of this thing. The fork, the feel it's really linear, right? It's a cross-country fork, so it's not very progressive. It's super linear. It does have the suggested rider weight and air pressure suggestions right there, which I ran for a while, and then it was just a little too wallowy. I was blowing through the travel a little too hard. I wasn't riding in the mid-stroke. And then Ian Mossy actually told me to air it up. He actually aired it up for me. I think I'm running like something like 20 or 40 pounds. I can't remember. I wrote it down somewhere, but a lot higher pressure than what was recommended. And it works so much better now. I'm riding a lot higher in the travel, and I'm still using all the travel, but I'm riding a lot higher in the travel. The legs are 30 mil, so they are really skinny. I mean, what, you rode those things back in the day, which is 32 mil, right? So 30 mil ain't that bad. But yeah, these were a little, you do feel the flex a little bit every once in a while. Unless I'm like hitting stuff really, really hard, and if I'm trying to hold my line in the rough rocks and I'm just like pinning it, then yes, sometimes the wheel seems to have like a mind of its own. But for the most part, it doesn't really bother me anymore. I just kind of got used to the feeling. I think some of the flex, though, actually helps with the wheel to hold its line in the corners, though, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's a little noodly, and I'm like 130 pounds, right? So it doesn't bother me much, but I could see it being a problem for someone who's saying 200 pounds. But I also don't think that if you're actually going to buy this fork, you're going to be bombing down downhill trails anyways. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. It can be noodly if you are heavier or you're trying to do dumb shit like me. It runs the intrinsic damper, intrinsic plus with the ABS thing. ABS damper, the absolute damper. That's the low speed adjustment knob. When it's locked out, it's completely locked out, like rigid, and just a rebound adjustment, and then air pressure over here. So really simple fork. I got it off eBay, I think, for like $180 or $190 or something. So for a new fork, which works like this, it's pretty amazing. Granted, they're probably blowing it out because it's a 26 fork, but look at that clearance. Yes, I know I'm running a 26 by 1.5 tire, but still, that's a lot of clearance. You could probably fit a 650B in there, no problem, and still keep, like, because it's a 26 fork, you could still have a really low axle to crown. with that in mind. Reverse arch. Reverse arch, to be honest, I can't tell you the difference if that makes it stiffer or not. All the Manitou forks I've ridden had them, and never had an issue with clearance. If anyone's wondering about that, it's not a deal. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just the way it looks. One thing I'm going to say about the reverse arch is that if you are going to run one of those zip-tied fenders, you're going to have to like find a reverse arch specific one, or make your own, which is what most people do anyways. Okay, back to the fork. The damper, once again, I'm going to say this again, it's amazing. The absolute intrinsic damper is, I mean, it just feels fucking rad, man. It just soaks things up. Yeah, it soaks things up. And it doesn't feel wallowy once you have enough pressure in it. You can blast through stuff. There's enough mid-stroke support. Granted, this thing, and this is a pretty linear fork too. Yeah, it feels fucking solid. I think it's also probably the same damper as my Dorado right here. Maybe. Or at least it's similar. But yeah, this thing is solid. I think it also came out to something like 1560 grams or something. It was under 1600 grams for sure. And I think the MRD option, which was like $50-$60 more, came out to like 1500 grams. I can't remember the numbers for sure, but it was pretty light. So if you guys are ever looking for a good cross-country fork, I highly recommend these, man, especially if you're still running at 26. These are solid as hell. And as you can see, they also can take they can ride the rough technical stuff pretty well too. I mean, once again, you guys have seen my videos, and yeah, you know what I put this thing through, even with the drop bars and the skinny ass road tires. But yes, Manitou R7. This is the Expert. No, this is the Pro model. Manitou R7 Pro. You can find these still for pretty cheap off eBay, actually. Or I think there's a guy on Pink Bike selling a bunch of these brand new. I think he stocks them and just. But yeah, that's my review of the R7. It's a beautiful, beautiful fork. Oh, it also makes a really cool like noise. Like, do you remember those old Marzocchi 888s and those 66s used to make those noises? Yeah. It does that, which is pretty. I mean, it can be pretty cool or annoying depending how you want to look at it. But you know, when you're riding, you're breathing so hard, you don't even notice it. Yeah, it sounds like a blow-off valve on a turbo, like. Could be cool, especially when you have the low-speed, like knob, like turned in a little bit. It's just blowing through the orifice. So yeah, you can hear that a little bit more. But yeah, that's my Manitou R7 review. Let's see. Stiffness, okay. Not super stiff, but sometimes you don't want things to be super stiff, right? You can hold it in the corners, but if you're holding it in a straight line in the rough, sometimes you kind of wonder. But it is a cross-country fork, and I'm running really, really dumb tires and wheels. So that could be that too. But a damper is amazing. Oh! One thing about this, sometimes when it's really, really cold, and this happens to a lot of suspension anyways, you know how like the rebound slows down? When that happens, sometimes the rebound gets a little too slow than where I'd like it to be, but it still works, but I have to like really, really like, yeah, just a little under where I'd like it to be. But maybe that's also because I used to run that as super low pressure. Or what the recommended pressure was for someone who was like 130 pounds or 120 pounds or whatever that was. I don't have that problem anymore. But yeah, just keep in mind that when it's cold, the rebound might be a little slower than what you'd like, even with the knob all the way out. But aside from that, I mean, if you're looking for a solid fork, Poe approved. Alright, peace out guys, later.